The sandstorm howled like a wounded beast across the ruins of Karo'Zul, a half-buried alien city that had slept beneath the dunes of Epsilon Prime for over 10 millennia. Most believed the planet was a dead world, stripped of atmosphere, life, and secrets. But Ethan Drake, a former xenoarchaeologist turned reluctant mercenary, had learned to follow the whispers of the forgotten. And now, in the shadow of dusk, the wind unearthed what no excavation had ever found. The stone was unlike anything he had catalogued before. Obsidian black, carved in perfect concentric spirals that pulsed faintly, as if remembering something. Ethan knelt beside it, brushing sand aside with calloused fingers. A sudden jolt ran up his arm. Not pain. Not exactly. It was more like being seen. "Drake to base," he said through his wrist comm. "I've found something. Something big." Static answered him. He looked up. The storm had swallowed the sky. Visibility. Nearly zero. There was no turning back now. He pressed his hand against the spiraled stone. With a soundless shudder, the ground beneath him trembled. The black stone cracked down the center, releasing a faint violet mist that glowed with a cold light. Sand poured into the widening crevice as the platform descended. Slow, deliberate. Ethan staggered but kept his hand in place, and then suddenly he was inside. He found himself in a chamber aglow with alien geometry, crystalline walls shifting in hue from deep violet to iridescent blue. The air was breathable somehow. He took cautious steps forward, heart pounding with every echoing footfall. And then he saw her. Encased in a transparent, crystalline sarcophagus lay a woman unlike any species he had ever encountered. Her skin shimmered faintly like polished onyx, her hair a cascade of silver threads that floated as though underwater. Elegant markings, golden and angular, ran across her cheeks and down her throat. A crown of unknown metal adorned her brow. Despite the millennia, she looked untouched by time. Ethan's fingers hovered above the smooth crystal. "Who were you?" he murmured. And as if in answer, his hand made contact. The sarcophagus flared with light. Energy surged through the chamber, singing with long-lost language. Ethan fell back, shielding his eyes. The crystal shattered into dust. He sat up. At first she didn't speak. Her gaze, piercing and alien, scanned him like an ancient sentinel awakening from her post. Then her lips moved. Human. Her voice was melodic, yet powerful. Queen's voice. No translator chip could interpret her tongue, yet Ethan understood. Not through words but something deeper. "I am Seraphine of the undying line," she said, standing within human grace. "Where are my people?" Ethan, stunned, shook his head. "You've been buried for 10,000 years. There's no one left." She tilted her head, unblinking. 10,000. Her knees buckled. Ethan caught her before she hit the floor. Her body was warm, too warm. "Your system's in shock," he said, gently lowering her against a crystal pillar. "Cryo sleep for that long. It's a miracle you're even conscious." Seraphine's eyes shimmered with sorrow. "Then, the war is over. And we lost." Back at his camp, what remained of it after the storm, Ethan tended to her by the flickering light of a portable generator. She barely spoke, staring into the distance as though watching echoes of a life now dust. Eventually she whispered, "We buried ourselves to outlast the darkness." Ethan looked up from his datapad. "Darkness. A sentient void," she murmured. "It devoured stars, corrupted minds, turned our own against us. My people, the Aenari, created a failsafe. We called it the Silence Vault. It could only be opened by a being unlike any of us." She glanced at Ethan, eyes narrowing. A human. Why us? Because your kind is unpredictable, resistant. You do not echo in the same way. You are noise in the pattern. Ethan raised a brow, not sure whether to be flattered or insulted. The next day, she led him back into the vault. Where once the chamber had been still, now it pulsed with waking systems. Glowing lines danced across walls, forming constellations and diagrams. Seraphine placed her hand on a central pedestal, and the floor split open to reveal a holographic map of the galaxy. Half of it flickered in black. "This is what remains," she said grimly. "The darkness was not stopped, only delayed. If it has awakened, then so must we." "We?" Ethan asked. "You touched the seal. That makes you the conduit. I'm an archaeologist, not a chosen one." Seraphine's gaze did not waver. "Then you must become one." Over the next few weeks, Ethan trained under her guidance. The vault held more than memories. It held weapons, records, knowledge stored in crystalline cores. He learned of the Aenari's fall, of great civilizations lost to the encroaching hunger of the void mind. He saw simulations of entire planetary systems unraveling into darkness. And still Seraphine trained him. She taught him how to wield the crystalline technology, how to interface with the Aenari systems using his unique neural signature. It was not just science, it bordered on magic. Eventually, she gifted him a weapon, the Shardblade, a curved crystalline sword that hummed in tune with his heartbeat. "It answers only to the conduit," she said. One night, as stars glittered above the ruined city, Ethan asked her, "Why did it have to be me?" Seraphine sat beside him, watching the sky. "Because you were kind, curious. You didn't come seeking treasure. You came seeking truth." He glanced at her, his voice soft. "And you?" "I was a queen without a kingdom. Now I am a soldier in a war long lost." They said nothing more that night. Then the signs began. Drones returned to the planet, corrupted remnants of civilizations long thought dead. They bore no emblems, no flags, just black armor and the sigil of a devouring spiral. "The void mind remembers," Seraphine whispered as they hid among the ruins. "It knows I have awoken." They were forced to flee deeper into the silence vault. Seraphine activated a sequence buried beneath the main chamber, a long-forgotten starship, hidden beneath 10 kilometers of rock. It rose with the scream of shifting tectonics. The Ecliptar, last of the Aenari star cruisers, gleamed like a spectral sword in the desert moonlight. Ethan stood at its helm, overwhelmed. Seraphine stood beside him, regal and calm. "It's time to awaken the others." Others? There were 7 vaults. The journey took months. Across dead systems and buried moons, they found others. Some Aenari, some not. Survivors. Refugees. One by one, they gathered allies and knowledge. Ethan found himself changing. He was no longer just an archaeologist. He became a symbol, someone the broken remnants could rally behind. Seraphine never left his side. Together they reactivated lost defenses. Together they faced the creeping shadow of the void mind, which now moved like a virus across forgotten networks and AI systems. And finally they traced its signal to its origin. Black Star. A gravity well wrapped in sentient code. As the Ecliptar approached the Black Star, systems flickered. Voices whispered through the comms, twisted versions of Ethan's own memories. The ship strained. Seraphine placed a hand on his shoulder. "It wants to divide us. Twist us. Don't let it." They descended into the heart of the anomaly. At its core was not a creature, but a construct. A throne of black light. Spoke. You are late, little queen.